Hey guys, welcome to my review of Luke Skywalker, or The Legends of Luke Skywalker. If you want to follow me, I have a Goodreads social media if you want to follow my reading habits and my reviews, which are in a link somewhere around here. But let's get into the review. I felt like this book really got into what is the importance of being a Jedi and how a Jedi influences the world that they interact with. Sorry, let me let that helicopter go away right now. Here's a funny thing. No helicopter for the whole day until I started recording, and then helicopter. So this novel isn't really a novel. It's more of a collection of a bunch of short stories. It's about a bunch of smugglers or just people around the galaxy who have stories about Luke Skywalker and what he's been doing between episodes 6 and 7. Each story is told from an unreliable narrator, so you have stuff that's more grounded in Star Wars reality versus stuff that's definitely more out there and a little bit like, okay, can't trust your telling of the story, which is kind of the point of the title of the book, Legends of Luke Skywalker. So with that, you're gonna have kind of like an unbalanced point of reference in terms of quality, I think. Of all those stories, I only really loved one. The rest were kind of okay, and one of the stories I actively disliked. My favorite story of the bunch revolved around Luke learning from this new place about what the Force is and what it means to be a Force user and how to use the Force. That was probably the most interesting concept. It was the most engaging, the most compelling themes going on. But that was like really the only one. There's about maybe 6 or 7 legends or stories within this book. And I only took away from one that I really, really enjoyed. Some of the other stories just took too long to get into Luke Skywalker. I mean, sure, we do want to get introduced to the people who are telling the story so we can kind of understand where they're coming from. But some of the stories took like maybe half of the story until they actually got to Luke Skywalker, which is kind of the reason why someone might read this book, because they see Luke Skywalker in the title, they see Legends of Luke Skywalker, so you kind of just want to read about the Legends of Luke Skywalker. So sometimes it does take a little bit long to get into the stories, and there's only one story that was in here that I actually actively disliked, and part of the reason is because it takes away the agency of Luke Skywalker in one of the scenes in Return of the Jedi, which I felt wasn't that great. Like, some of the other stories actually kind of, helped to enhance the character of Luke Skywalker, while this story I felt like took away from the character of Luke Skywalker and his journey as a Jedi Knight. One of my more consistent arguments against Star Wars authors, or at least new ones, is that they sometimes try to like make you know that they're fans of Star Wars by putting in references upon references upon references of things that happen in the original trilogy or things that happen, within some sort of TV show or whatever. And once again, this book has way too many references to the original trilogy. I much prefer it's fine having it a few times, but having just like leaning on it time and time again, I feel like is a little bit grating for me. And I feel like it's a little bit less confident. If you really want to make an engaging story, make it work on the merits of your own story. You have a pretty good story off the bat. You have a story about the Legends of Luke Skywalker. You can make that interesting without having to reference all these things from the original trilogy, which was one other thing that I felt like it was like, can you stop referencing Star Wars? I know I'm reading a Star Wars book. It's got Luke Skywalker, like, please. But overall, I think it was a pretty okay book. I really do like that seeing Luke from different people's perspectives was really nice. And like I said before, it really shows what it means to be a Jedi in the world, in the galaxy. It shows why it's important to be a good Jedi, because there's sequences where Luke shows people a new light to what they thought Jedi Knights were and what they really should be. And I really enjoyed the highlight of this book is Luke Skywalker, which is a good thing. And if the book's about Luke Skywalker, he should be the highlight. But just seeing how he engages with different kinds of situations, the way he interacts with other people, he really is sort of like a traveling monk, kind of giving off examples, not by preaching, not by saying, kind of like the old school Jedi, which is like preach about the Jedi code. It's more of doing it by actions. It's his actions that make people better, like, because he's leading by example versus just saying do this or don't do that. I don't know if I would recommend this book necessarily, unless you're a super Luke Skywalker fan like I am. You would want to read it. That's the reason why I read it. But if you're reading it just for like a good time read or whatever, there's only a handful of stories I think you can get out of this that are really, I think, thought-provoking and engaging. Otherwise, I kind of think it's a skip. But that's it, guys. I'll see you guys on the next Before You Read. If you want to go further with this book, I have a After You Read, Luke Skywalker and the Legends of Luke Skywalker. So if you want to check that out, links in the description somewhere around here. I don't know. And as always, peace, love, and may the Force be with you. Always.